Zeit 8:50 Uhr, 4 Minuten bis zum Start des Spurschlitten. 4 minutes left to the start of the first pilot sled.
Because they sleep with and cut and keep it around you, son, so they can watch all the things you do. Because the drugs never work, they gonna give you a fight, cause they got methods of keeping you clean. They gonna rip up your heads, your aspirations to shreds. Another cock in the murder machine. They said, now it said the living down to me. We can kill us, that's how it's so talking in clothes, I'll strike a violent pose. Maybe a little low, but not me. Now boys, and doesn't click.
Nothing on the table. Nice into 15. Oh, and very late.
I was like, no! I warm up every race. Nobody fucking start.
Vorsicht an der Bahn und Start. Nummer 3.
Ethan has no return.
Welcome back to Innsbruck in Austria for the final day of sliding race weekend number 2 of the IBSF World Cup season on this remodeled track at Igls, twice the Olympic sliding venue, 1964 and 1976. Well, we're getting ready for Sunday's action, and to start us off, it'll be women's bobsleigh. Again, the start is going to be all important here. It's short, you need to be very explosive. Get in before you run out of the drive lines through the little dink of corner 1, Omega, this 180-degree plus corner 2, and then corner 3 and 4, the beginning of the upper Labyrinth. This is very slow speed still. You need to be really clean with the sled. Out of corner 5, building a little of speed, and through corner 6 down into the signature corner here, the Kreisel. Full 360 degrees, you exit under the track where you come in. The finish also goes over the top, then through corner 8 to 2 more pivotal corners. 9, this little straight, and into corner 10. If you mess that transition up, you're in real trouble. Likewise here, if you get on late in 11, 12, 13, you see how fast these corners come at you. You're going to tap on the wall going into 14. The finish line is here, and then you go up through corner 15 and up towards the outrun and the braking stretch to the new finish dock. So the bottom part of the track changed to stop them having to take their life in both hands as they raced into a tunnel. It was under the old ski piste. 22 sleds in this morning's field for the women's bobsleigh. And there is Kreisel, the winner yesterday from this woman, Nolte, in our monobob race. They swapped positions, basically. Lisa Buchwitz of Germany, a 4-time consecutive winner in the monobob, finished in 3rd place yesterday. Great day for Melissa Lottholz as well. She had her best monobob World Cup result. 5th place finish. And Alana Myers-Taylor regaining the form that a little bit eluded her in Cortina. Kaylee Humphries, as ever, will be competitive here. With so much being on the start, unless you've got a monstrous start, you're going to have to be ultra clean all the way down. Cynthia up here should be among the front runners as well. Cyn had a very good day yesterday in the mono. And we've got some new athletes joining the World Cup on the back of sleds. Talk about them a little bit as we get through our field. So here is the starting order. First off is Frenchwoman Margot Bock with Deborah Annen of Switzerland and Maya Voigt of Denmark, who had a cracking race yesterday in the monos, really having a good weekend already. Then Kaylee Humphries, best of the top 10 seeds. Lara Nolte, our world champion, goes off in 9th place ahead of rookie Christian Budznowski, who again had a good day in the mono yesterday. 22 sleds, only the fastest 20 will go through, so there's already jeopardy for those outside, maybe the top 10 starters. Race 2, IBSF Women's Bobsleigh World Cup. We get underway with Margot Bock of France and her debutante Bray woman, Luna Gouraud, her first ever bobsleigh race officially, although she has practiced and of course will have trained in La Plagne. 23rd World Cup start in women's bob for Margot. Let's see what she can produce. A 5.60 start. Best women's bobsleigh result for Margot, 4th place in St. Moritz. She was 6th here in December 2020 when we got racing underway after COVID. Innsbruck got used an awful lot that season, the season after. Through the Kreisel, nice smooth line so far. This is good looking stuff from Margot Bock. She's a very smooth driver. Rarely see Tapsaws kids from her. Down through the low Labyrinth, 11, 12, little rocky, 13, look out! Big hit in 14, is she going to avoid the walls up to the line? She does, 54.36, so new track record because it is a new track, it's been remodelled at the bottom. Now the original start record dates back to January 2014, Alana Myers-Taylor and Asia Evans. I think they raced to gold that day, a 5.38. And you saw start records broken yesterday. Today might be a little mild. Late into the Labyrinth. And those corners 11, 12, 13 and now 14 come at you so quickly. There's rarely time to adjust. So off 13, which was the old finish line, boom, hits the wall hard in 14. See a couple of our young Austrian athletes there, the forerunners on the track, just to check that everything's fine before the race starts. Next up, Deborah Annen. 6th World Cup start for her. Mara Morel in her 16th. Second World Cup here for Deborah. She's done 4 Europe Cup races here and junior European bronze medalist on this track 2 years ago. 5.62, so within a couple of hundreds of Margot Bock. Deborah Annan, son of daughter of Martin Annan, one of the early 2000s standout Swiss bobsledders. 200s behind at the start, 700s back now. She needs to find a little bit more speed down through the Kreisel. Trying to keep one pressure through the Kreisel. Nice exit. Long skid though down into corner 8. You heard the tap. Now out of 9, need to come straight down to corner 10. That was good, but she is losing more ground to Margot Bock. Little flop down into the Labyrinth. She can avoid the massive wallop. That's a tap that everybody's going to take. Better speed now. Double tap before the line though. And so might have been a few hundreds closer. 54.46 compared to Margot Bock's 54.36. Brakewoman has to do almost nothing here because this long and really quite steep uphill finish section, you only just need to feather the brakes right at the end. Quite a contrast to the old finish at Innsbruck, where the moment you came off the finish curve, you're hard on the brakes before another corner. Well, out of 10, skidding downhill into corner 11. And when you start to get it wrong in the Labyrinth, things go quite badly wrong. 9 to 10 though was nice and clean. All right, one down and hopefully one to go. She should make the second heat. Now, Maja Voigt of Denmark, Youth Olympic champion in Pyeongchang 2024 in monobob. Her first World Cup here. Raced here in the pre-Youth Olympic Omega races, the selection races, and in Europe Cup. Her brakewoman, Sophia Bonder from Prague, lives in Copenhagen now, 100 and 200 meter runner and pole vaulter, and there is a problem for a second day with the push bar. One of our athletes had that issue yesterday with a sled not coming out. So they've got that sorted, but the clock is running and they must start and break the start beam before it gets to 0. So all sorts of turmoil in the young Dane's head. She's just 18, her brakewoman 18, 3, just got it done. Just got it done. 5.73, well, she's a very strong starter, Maja Voigt. No question at all about that. She was among the top 3 starters in the women's field yesterday at just 18. And she does drive well. No surprise that she was the Youth Olympic champion in monobob. A little high in that pressure on the Kreisel, but drives it out nicely. Leaning on the cowl just to steer the sled. Little tap 9 to 10 and a skid down into corner 10. Down to 10 into the Labyrinth. Whoa, little high in 12 and in 13. Doesn't take too hard a tap. Is she going to lead at the line? No, she's not. 7,400s back. That's quite a long way adrift. That wasn't a bad looking drive. Too high maybe in the Kreisel. Just allowed the sled to rise a little too far. Brakewoman Sophia just feathering the brakes as they get to the finish line. So this is, again, a little high in the Labyrinth. And those corners do just rush at you so fast. You're doing 75 miles an hour there. And 3 corners in 150 meters. It's just whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. So if you mistime the first, it multiplies. All right, so Maja Voigt in 3rd place of 3, as we now get to our 2-time women's bobsleigh Olympic champion and multiple world champion, Kaylee Humphries. Jasmine Jones behind her. Jazz in her 4th women's bob start in the World Cup. Made a debut here in February 2023. In fact, Jasmine Jones has not raced in a women's bobsleigh race in the World Cup anywhere other than Innsbruck. Kaylee Humphries in her 128th drive in a bobsleigh in women's bob. 5:53 is another strong start for the US duo. Kaylee's tasted gold on this track before now. And there's nothing at all lacking in her driving skills. Great run from 9 to 10. Using the height to drive herself through into the chicane. 1300s up, maintaining that advantage. Whoa! But late into the Labyrinth and paying the penalty on the exit. 54.19, so she goes quicker, a new track record. That may well not be where it finishes. Looks like Kaylee was pretty happy with that one. Either that or encouraging Jasmine to let the sled fly or run all the way up to the top. Tuffy Latour, and she's already rethinking that Labyrinth. Great view of the team loading. Watch right at the bottom of the screen where the grooves are cut. So the bobsleigh runs straight when you're pushing it. Where they run out, she's going straight. Jasmine loaded nice and quietly. Out of 10, out of 9 rather, just had to have a little late steer in 9. Next up, Melissa Lotholz of Canada with Skylar Sieben behind her. This duo were bronze medalists in Lillehammer at the end of last season. 5:59 getaway. And Melissa really feeling the love for the track yesterday in the top 6 in the monobob, finishing with 5th position. Last year here, 17th in the women's bobsleigh race. But she has had a 5th place finish. Tied for 3rd on the splits, now slipping adrift a little down to 4th place behind Deborah Annan. So 2nd best start, but not holding that pace down the track. Whoa, again, looping and the end of the Labyrinth, and a big double hit on the wall, 54.63. Lyndon Rush on the left, Justin Cripps on the right, 4400s back. 4th at the moment, but with a lot of talent to come. 2 more US sleds, all 3 German sleds. Teammate Cynthia Appiah, Kristen Bushnowski of Canada. And that's before we get to any other nations like Switzerland, China, Great Britain. That's probably not going to end up as a top 6 run, and 9 to 10, she'll be absolutely kicking herself there. Big height in the Kreisel. In fact, that was 10, I think. And then rattling all the way through the Labyrinth. Next up for Austria, Katie Beil with Christiania Williams, the Olympic Commonwealth 4x100 meter silver medalist. Her first race of the season, 3rd World Cup for Christiania. And a 5:49 getaway for Katie Beil. Well, she knows how important the start is here, Katie. Bronze here in January 2021. Probably her best season of the last couple of Olympic quads. She was the World Cup champion in the 20 to 21 season. A little wavy from 6 down to the Kreisel. Again, maybe just a little height. Maybe that's the way the Austrians drive it. Just 100th off the lead of Kaylee Humphries. Oh, but again, 9. The exit not great. Skidding down to 10, and that's going to cost her more. She needs to be much tighter in the Labyrinth than Kaylee was. That is better. How close to the lead? 500s back. Wolfgang Stampfer on the right, the coach. All right, so where does that stack her up in her 59th women's bobsleigh race? Is that going to see Katie Beil in the top 6, top 10? There's stuff to tidy up. She was disappointed in yesterday's monobob race. Out of 9, watch the runner tips. Just allows the sled to come down. There's a little counter skid as she comes down to 10. Yeah. Comme ci, comme ça, as they don't say in Austria. Next up for Germany, Lisa Buchwitz, our 2024 Women's Bobsleigh World Champion. Kira Lipperheider made her debut in January 2019 on this track. Took silver with Mariama Yamanka. Kira's 15th Women's Bobsleigh race in World Cup. And a 22nd as a driver now for Lisa Buchwitz. She did 17 as a push athlete as well. 5:42, good strong start. 400s away from the start record. And that start record dating back to 2014. Is that in danger today? It might just be. 1600s up on Kaylee Humphries. Her winning streak in monobob ended yesterday after 4 straight golds here. She took the bronze in the mono yesterday. And she put herself on the podium. She's been a winner here in women's bobsleigh as well. The gap over Kaylee coming right down. Needs a tidy Labyrinth. Can't afford a hit here in the run-up to the finish. She is clean with a new track record. That's how you keep the speed on board. So 54.08, leading by 1100s from Kaylee. Outstarted Kaylee by 11, finished 11 ahead of her. Now, bobsleigh math says 100th at the top should be worth 300s at the bottom. So she should maybe have been 3300s ahead. Look at the way the brakewoman buries herself in the floor. Kira Lipperheider just holding on to 2 little metal rings, little handles on the floor of the sled, and absolutely folded in half. From 9 down to 10, little tap and a skid. So there is Lisa on the right. Kira still trying to get the helmet off. As we get to our next sled, yesterday's race winner, Keisha Love, tied for 5th place in a women's race here. Last year, Sylvia Hoffman drove to 7th place, right behind Keisha in last year's women's race. Sylvia back braking in the Olympic cycle. So Keisha, our monobob world champion, gold medalist yesterday. Best result on this track was that tie for 5th last year. 5:44 getaway. Just 200s behind Lisa Buchwitz at the start. Now, let's see what Keisha can do. In the last Olympic cycle, she was a brakewoman in Beijing, and she's going to go as a definite medal candidate, certainly in monobob, and quite possibly in the women's bobsleigh as well, into Milano Cortina. Little tap 9 to 10. And another hit there going into the Labyrinth. It just nudged her away a little, so she might have to steer quite a lot to keep the sled running smooth. Across the line, 400s back. That's a really good run from Keisha Love, despite those mistakes. Just 400s behind Lisa Buchwitz and 700s ahead of Kaylee Humphries. Excellent work from Keisha Love. 44 start and a really nice drive. Now, little skid there developing. And you can see how it turns the sled in the wrong direction. Just a little late exit and a flop going down into the Labyrinth. Well driven by Keisha Love. Now then, Lara Nolte, our Olympic and world champion and World Cup champion of last year, reunited with Olympic gold medal winning brakewoman Deborah Levy. They won the World Championship last year as well. 20 races together, and Deborah has had 19 medals with Lara Nolte. 1 crash, but they start 5:40, fastest start so far. And Lara Nolte has won 5 of her 8 World Cup women's races on this track. Best speed. She's going to build her advantage over teammate Lisa Buchwitz. Ooh, long skid though. Down into 8. Let's see if she comes clean out of 9. She does. Coaches are going to give that a 10 out of 10. Down into the Labyrinth. Nice lines, making it look like it's really not a drama at all. This is going to be a new track record and the lead. 53.78 for Lara Nolte. Whatever the German for "you go, girl" is, that was that. What a good run from Lara Nolte. Nolte leads by 0.3 of a second. Despite this little tap out of corner 2. A little skid down here as well. 7 into 8. So didn't quite maximise her speed off the Kreisel, but she's got a whopping lead. Berating herself for her mistakes. So next up, Christian Buźnowski, World Cup rookie this season, made her driving debut in Cortina. And Dawn Richardson-Wilson, her 14th World Cup. Cortina was her first race since the Winter Games in Beijing with Cynthia up here. 5:50. Buj, a strong starter, had a good race in the monos yesterday. Finished in 10th place in Cortina. 5th best start. Speed is decent as well. Nice line in the Kreisel. Little flop on the exit, and that gives her a skid down to corner 8. Little tap from 8 into 9. Skid and double taps down into 10. All of this taking a little speed out of the sled. So top 5 start. Whoa, hold on. In the back, Dawn is feeling all of this. Double taps up to the line. 54.54. And that leaves her in 8th place. And that is 800s behind Deborah Annan. And 900s ahead of teammate Melissa Lottholz. So nice drive from Buj. Again, out of the Kreisel, just a tiny little late bit of pressure. Leads to a little flop. Doesn't get too much sideways going into corner 8. But down in the Labyrinth, late exits are always going to catch up with you. Tappity tap on the way up through the uphill section. Probably cost her 1500s, 2/10. So 10 sleds into our field of 22. Lara Nolte, the runaway leader. Everybody else with a hand on each other's throats. So where is Kim Kilicki going to end up? 41st World Cup start for Kim. 34 medals in her previous 40 races. 8 World Cups here with 7 medals, none of them gold. Leni Fiebig really doing the heavy lifting here. Kim still struggling with this pneumonia. Weak as a kitten, and looks like the last place she wants to be is out in the cold. Silver medalist on this track, multiple race winner in women's bobsleigh, and a 5:51 start. It's a really strong effort from Kilicki and particularly Leni Fiebig on the back. Fiebig has done 30 World Cup races up to now, 24 medals, predominantly with Kim. And that's a nice looking exit. She might not be fit and healthy, but she can still drive a sled. 6th at the start, up to 4th on the splits, ahead of Kaylee Humphries, trying to chase down Keisha Love. Does she get her? She does. 54.07. That is the classic sign of a really good drive. 1100s back at the start, only 2900s back at the bottom. And she is 100th ahead of teammate Lisa Buchwitz, who outstarted her by 900s, only 900s. A healthy Buchwitz and Kira Lipper-Heider, 5:42, 5:51 for Kim Kilicki and Leni Fiebig. Big props to Leni. She was doing more than she would expect to have to do with a healthy Kim on the front. That great drive from Kim Kilicki, and that's why she's here, to get the points to qualify strongly for the games. She's actually starting to look a little bit less unwell, which is always good news. Now with Alana Myers-Taylor, Azaria Hill, silver last week with Keisha Love in Cortina, and Alana, a two-time winner here, one in 2015 and in 2017. 5 other World Cup medals on this track. She's the start record holder, 5:55. 88th World Cup drive in women's bobsleigh for Alana. In total, her 103rd World Cup appearance in the back and the front of the sled. 1500s back at the start, 8th place getaway, still in 8th place on the splits. So chasing Deborah Annan and Margot Bock. Nice lines again, and these US-built MTEC sleds are flying, but she gives away speed, 9 down to 10. She'll be frustrated with that. She's always been a safe pair of hands on this track. Little tap. Got to avoid the walls uphill, she does. 8th at the line, 54.40. So ahead of Deborah Annan. Keisha Love in 4th, Kaylee Humphries in 5th. Her teammates are a couple of tenths away. So 8th in the first run down for Alana. Those mistakes 9 to 10 don't just cost you time there, they also drag speed out of the sled all the way down the run. You saw her steering hard off 9, and then centrifugal force kicking the tail of the sled out. And down here in the Labyrinth, and there's the standard tap in the 13-14 transition that everybody takes. Next up for Switzerland, Melanie Hasler. Muswama Kumbundi is on the back of the sled for the 6th time. Made her debut in January 2018 and then disappeared until February 2024, when she reappeared in the team. 5.50 start. So that's a top 5 getaway for this duo. Bronze medalist in February 2023, Melanie Hasler. Tied for 5th with Keisha Love last year. Is she going to be tying for 5th? Well, she was at the start. Actually, Keisha had the 3rd fastest start with Sylvia Hoffman. Mel Hasler dropping away, losing speed. Now, is it the athletes or is it the track? It's a mild day. It wasn't particularly cold overnight. It was quite a humid day yesterday, a lot of cloud cover. I'm not sure that the track is quite as quick as it might be. And that means that the later starters are going to struggle here, and that might be the case for the men this afternoon in the 4-man. So, no major dramas, but 54.49. Kim Kilicki's 54.07. 3 sleds ago. It was a really good run. And if you can't match that, then you're going to end up at the tail end of the top 10. So 10th best run for Melanie Hasler. Again, a little late flop out of the Kreisel. And 9, watch the runners. Just driving out late, hits the wall, and that knocks the tail into a skid down into corner 10. Well, after Melanie Hasler comes her teammate. So, 2nd World Cup start for Enola Blatti of Switzerland, former sprinter and hurdler. And Salome Cora, her brakewoman, new to the sport this year, a 104x100 double Olympian, 4th in the last Olympics for Team Switzerland in the 4x1. So, no slouch. Enola Blatti, the Monobob Europe Cup champion, was the runner-up in the Europe Cup last year in women's bobsleigh. So she's got plenty of good driving ability. A 5.55 start, same as we just saw from Alana Myers-Taylor. So 9th best start, drifting out to 10th place, but the speed is good coming down into the Kreisel. Let's see if she can land this nice, nice clean exit from the Kreisel, straight down into corner 8. A clean 9 and 10 is what she needs, and is what she gets. Holding herself in the top 10, and that speed down into the Labyrinth, if she can be clean here, ooh, quite a substantial hit in 14 and double taps. 7th at the line though, that's a really good run from Nolte. Excellent stuff. Well, if only she'd show some emotion, eh? Happy with that, and why wouldn't you be? Second ever race on the big stage, and she properly put that together. 1100s behind local hero Kati Bile in 6th. A really good first heat from Nolte. Next up for Canada, Cynthia Appiah and debutante Kelsey Mitchell. The 32-year-old had a birthday on Wednesday. Former sprint track cyclist and Olympic gold medalist in the Tokyo Games. 5:55. Another strong start. Well, Cynthia has driven 7 World Cups here. 4th place finishes, her best results. Had a good day yesterday in the monobob. And she's going to make a debut this afternoon, she promises. She's coming in to join me for the 4-man competition. 9th best start, nice lines from the Canadian driver. Little earlier, fraction early out of Kreisel, puts her into a skid. Nice out of 9, straight down to 10, just the tiniest of taps. Is she having to work too hard for these lines though? 9th at the start, out to 14th place. Double tap, avoid the walls to the line, she can't. It's a 54.72, and that leaves her 14th behind Melissa Nolte and Christian Budzynowski. Well, if the track is starting to soften a little, that means mistakes are going to pay. So Kelsey Mitchell, soccer at university, left university in 2017. By 2018, she was in Canada's track cycling team, having been identified as a track cycling potential. 2021, the 2020 Games, she was the gold medalist in sprint. She's tried long track speed skating and has returned to bobsleigh because 10 years ago, she went for bobsleigh tryouts at Canada and they said, yeah, don't call us, we'll call you. This time, she got in the crew. Now, 16th of our 22 starters, Yingqing of China. Best here, 7th place in February 2023. Last year, disastrous 23rd place run. Wang Yu behind her, her 25-year-old brakeman, her 10th World Cup. 2 World Championships with Ying as well in 2023 and 2025. Nice load. A 5:68. They're the 16th sled, that's the 15th fastest start. So, outstarting Maja Voigt of Denmark. Voigt is at the tail of the field at the moment. So still in 15th place, half a second back. Heading down towards the Kreisel. Ooh, low entry and a low line in the Kreisel. Long skid down to 8. Pretty clean 9 to 10. Not gaining ground on Cynthia Appiah. So it's going to be her and Maja Voigt at the tail of the field for the moment. Clean at the line. She's ahead of Voigt by 0.12 of a second. So Yingqing and Wang Yu in 15th place. 2 sleds won't go through. At the moment, they have 1 behind them. And their teammates coming up next.
Außenkinder weiter mit der Startnummer 17.
A little late in the Labyrinth. You can see where the new build bits of track are. The wood, a very non-aged colour. And this is the exit of 13 and the transition into the new section at 14. Everybody getting a hit there. So now then, what about Wai Ming Ming? 30-year-old, less experienced in the World Cup, only 23 World Cup races. Best here, 7th place, the same as her teammate. World Cup best, 4th place finish, same as her teammate. Wang Chuang, the brakewoman, in her 18th World Cup since her debut on this track in November 2021. 5:59 getaway. So they outstart their teammates by 9 hundredths. 12th best start rather than the 15th best start. Nice and quiet through these early corners. Keep the speed alive. Avoid skids and taps. Down through 5 and 6 and heading towards the Kreisel. Looks like a good line. Does she come out square? She does, down towards corner 8. And a good 9.10. That is a good 9.10. Should help her climb back up the order of fraction. She's still losing speed though. And a little late in the Labyrinth as well. 8th best speed, she's clean to the line, so she does pick off a couple. 54.62. She will get a second heat. So 84 hundredths back, but she's in 13th place with 4 sleds behind her. So Cynthia Appiah is safe, will definitely get a second heat because she has Ying Qing and Maya Voigt behind her. And Ying and Voigt are in the danger zone. The last 2 sleds currently trying to coordinate. The brakewoman putting all of her power into the sled and the driver hitting the handle at the same time to break that inertia. And down in the Labyrinth, out of 13, double tap. All the push athletes feeling that, so there is why. Next up for Great Britain, Adele Nicol and Kaya Placide, the Cardiff gymnast, one of 7 kids in her family. And Kaya made her debut here in December 2023 with Nikki McSweeney. Now with Adele. Adele, 2 World Cup and 1 Europe Cup race here. Struggling with that knee injury still, 5.66. Now, it didn't stop her driving well yesterday. Last year, Adele, 13th place on this track. 2 silver medals in her women's bobsleigh World Cup career. Good speed. So let's see if she can drive as neat and tidily as she did. Blowing her knee out about a month pre-season, really seriously in a sprinting incident. Has definitely set her back in terms of speed at the start and fitness. But she does still drive well. Good looking lines, nice and smooth through the Labyrinth, tiniest of touches. If she can avoid the wall and tuck ahead, 54.83, that's not bad. 16th at the start, holds that position at the bottom, so she is guaranteed a second heat. And she's going to be having an awful lot of physio on that knee, trying to keep her fitness and her speed up. Kaya sharing one of those silver medals in Lake Placid at the end of the season a couple of years ago with Nicole. Really good to see Kaya Placid back in the World Cup squad for Team GB this year. They'll aim to have peak fitness, as everybody else will, for the games in February. All right, so Bree Walker for Australia with Chiara Rodingas. Best of 4th place here in December 2023. Her best ever World Cup result in women's bob has come on this track. Let's see what the start is. 5.63, 300s faster than we've just seen from Adele Nicol. The brakewoman Chiara in her 19th World Cup start. A former heptathlete. Made her debut here in November 2021, and Bree Walker's 30th women's bobsleigh race today. 16th at the start. How much speed is left in the track? thing here is if you are behind, you have to be perfect anyway to try and mitigate any more time loss. And on a track that may be softening a little. Little late flop. Little late into the Labyrinth as well. And a big hit in 14. Needs to come across the line clean and does for 17th place. So she's ahead of Ying Qing and Maya Voigt. 1.16 off the lead. Outstarted Adele Nickel by 300ths and came down 1100ths adrift. I'm not sure there's a lot of speed in the track right now. But then, walloping the wall from 13 to 14, possibly not helping much. So, Brie Walker, Chiara Rodriguez of Australia are 19th of 22 sleds. 3 to go in the first of 2 heats. Next up, Georgeta Popescu, the youth Olympic champion in 2020, with Teodora Vlad behind her. Teodora's 30th World Cup race in women's bob. Georgeta has 1 World Cup here. That was the race in January. She finished 25th. So didn't make the cut then. Let's see if she can this time. .576 start. That's a 10th adrift of anybody currently in the top 20 almost. She's going to struggle here. 2 slowest starters. Maya Voigt and Ying Qing are currently 19th and 18th out of 19 sleds, and Georgeta starting adrift of them by a few hundreds. She needs to find something at the bottom of the track. She's looping through the Labyrinth, must avoid the wall, doesn't. 19th place, she's ahead of Maya Voigt, so that's halfway to redemption. Maya Voigt now in 20th place with 2 to go, is definitely in the danger zone. We've got Linda Wajszewski of Poland and Lea Hasselwanter of Austria to go. Well, Georgeta Popescu looks happy with that. Hasn't made the cut in a World Cup start or in a previous World Cup start here. Oof, they do need a lot of work on coordinating this start. So Teodora Vlad go on the go. And Georgeta was not pushing on the handles, and that's why the start was slower than their rivals. And again, Teodora getting bounced out of the back seat as they climb the hill there. Lots of energy going out of the sled. At the moment, they're in the race. 2 to go. First of whom, Linda Wajszewski of Poland with Klaudia Adamek, a 4x1 and 4x200 world relay champion. And Linda made a driving debut in Lapland at the beginning of the year 2 years ago, December 2023. 8th here in January's race. Remains her best ever World Cup finish. Let's see if she can find the speed to do that. 5:48. And to get an 8th place finish, you sense that Linda Wajszewski probably started in the top 3 positions last January rather than in 21st place, but a 4th fastest start, 5:48, is massively impressive from Wajszewski and Adamek. Little skiddy. She's wiping off some of this speed. Whoa! A 9 to 10, untidy, looping out of 8. Oh, it's all getting away from her a little. Across the line, 15th place, 54.68. So she is in, and Maya Voigt of Denmark is out. Have a little look back to what the starting order was. I can't find that now. For last year, that's a really strong start, 5:48. Fastest start in the competition. 5:42, beg your pardon, 5:40, so 800ths off the very fastest. And if she can harness that speed further down the track, that is really going to pay dividends. So Georgeta Popescu not safe yet. Kind of a wild ride for the Polish team, but excellent starting. Now Lea Hasselwanter has Nicola Pichler behind her, who was with Kati Bile last week in Cortina. Lea's World Cup debut was here in January. Her only other World Cup start in Cortina. As you can see, she keeps herself very low in the sled. Every 100th helps. 16th at the start, 5:62. All right, that's where she needs to be. So she can't afford mistakes now, coming out last in the field. Up to 15th on the splits. It is the track where she learned to drive. And nice lines so far from Lea Hasselwanter. Ooh, little height there we saw from Kati Bile, and she handles it well out of the Kreisel. And that will give her a little slingshot down through 8, 9 and 10, but she bleeds some away, 9 to 10. 16th at the start, drifting away a fraction. Got to be clean in the Labyrinth. Tiny tap in 14. Should be enough to see her in the race. It is 16th at the line, so she's in, and out go Maya Voigt and Georgeta Popescu. 54.72, 16th at the start, 16th at the finish. She's in the heat, so she makes the cut. She was 19th here in January. And crashed in a women's race in Cortina. It's a big smile on her face. Lea Hasselwanter, her 3rd World Cup start, and she makes the field again here in Innsbruck. Just a tiniest little flop there. It's a late exit. And that gives you the skid. Ran out a corner before she managed to ease the sled down. Lea on the left, Nicola on the right. So they will go back to the top and get ready to go again. And so too will this crew. Our world and Olympic champions, Lara Nolte and Deborah Levy, back together and in sparkling form. Fastest start of the competition, 5:40. Fastest run of the lot. And she is 3/10 ahead of her closest rival, Kim Kilicki. So Kim Kilicki, 2900ths back, 100th behind her, Lisa Buchwitz, 400ths behind them, Keisha Love, Kelly Humphries, Kati Bile, along with Inola Blatti and Margot Bock will be battling for top 6 finishes and maybe to try and climb up the order. And the earlier you start, perhaps, the more chance you have of improving your lot, as it seems the ice is getting a little slower. Lana Myers-Taylor and Deborah Annan in the top 10. Deborah ahead of teammate Mel Hassler. And the top Canadian, Christian Bujnowski, in 12th place. Inola Blatti in 7th. Impressive stuff. Adele Nicol 18th, and Ying Qing of China is the final sled to go through and make the cut for Heat 2. And that will begin at 10:30 local, 09:30 GMT, 04:30 Eastern, and that is in 40 minutes from now. Join us then to see who wins the 2nd Women's Bobsleigh World Cup race of the IBSF World Cup season.